Hello everybody, welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. So some of you would have seen on social media that we have changed location from Newcastle Fans TV going forward as well. Keep an eye out at the end of this video if you want to know more. It's basically just a quick minute tour. So I'm going to be talking about the under-23s. Now normally when there's an international break, we normally talk about things that don't really get discussed as much is what we would because the run of games and so on and so on. So we're going to be talking about the under-23s. Now the under-23s will play Oldham later on today by the time this video goes out, which will be Tuesday in the Chequerton Trophy. Now if Newcastle don't win, that'll be one win from 10 games, and that's an awful, shocking run of form considering where Newcastle are. They're in the Premier League 2, we're not even in the highest division for youngsters, and we're struggling mid-table. I know the results aren't everything for the under-23s. You've got to get your lad out into the first team or out on loan to gain experience. But first of all, I want to touch on the form because I think a little bit of confidence is key with youngsters. Have a look at this. Now, the first thing that points out, you're going to look at the 6-0 hammering of Aston Villa, the 6-2 of Southampton. And you're struggling. Yeah, you probably might say the win over Crewe first team was fantastic. But so far this season, Newcastle played 13, won just the 4 games, drawn 2, lost 7, scored 19, but a massive 28 conceded. And 1 win from the last 9 games, and that could be 10 depending on the Oldham result. Now don't get me wrong, if they go and win against Oldham, Newcastle go through at the knockout stages in the Chequerton Trade, which is fantastic. Wembley's still on the horizon. But the question is, why are we struggling so bad in the under-23s? Why have we never seen so many youngsters come through? The likes, I know Everton are struggling, but Everton are not scared to just put youngsters in there and play. Southampton is another one. Manchester United, well, not so much the last 18 months, but Van Gaal wasn't scared just to chuck the likes of Rashford in. Yeah, he might see it as a one-off, but what I'm trying to say is why aren't we having any youngsters breaking through? And we haven't really had anyone since Paul Dummett, really, because you might say, yeah, Adam Armstrong's one, but really? Is Adam Armstrong really getting in that first team? When he comes back from Bolton, he's only just scored his first goal over the weekend. Is he really going to have a first team opportunity in Newcastle? Because I think it's a make or break season for him. You look at all the other youngsters out on loan as well. It's difficult. You look at the under-23s, who can get it in that first team now. Again, I've said this over the summer. Again, you would have to say it's Dan Barlaser, who very similar to John Joe Shelby, dictates the play and sprays it left, right and centre under the 23s. But he's already hinted on that he wants a loan spell out because he's not getting the opportunity to play in the first team. Now, he's a local lad. He was in the same school as my brother. You know, he's from the area, around here. He needs first team football. He's starting to grow out the under-23s. Freddie Woodman won the World Cup, for God's sake. Why isn't he at least second choice goalkeeper by now? He has to be next season or we'll risk losing him. He was really disappointing not going out on loan. And then you look at all the rest of the squad and you say, yeah, you've got a couple of tricksers in there, Yassin Ben Almani, but he's barely had a kick this season. Victor Fernandez excites a lot of people again, but he's hit and miss also. There's no one in the under-23 who was knocking on the first team door, and it's a really shame. We as Geordies love to see Geordies come through, and you're looking at Adam Armstrong out on loan, who isn't really kicking it off at Bolton. Paul Dummett is the only one. Jack Colback was brought up in Sunderland. It's Sunderland's academy, sorry. And then Paul Dummett, and then you're struggling, aren't you? He's the only real Geordie. Stephen Taylor, when he was at the club, I haven't got an answer for you. What is it? Is it Peter Beardsley? Is he not training this side correctly? Now, the under-23s play the same formation as the first team, so you would think whoever comes through will slot in nice and easily. Are they not good enough? Is it because of the Premier League? Managers get sacked left, right and centre. Ronald Koeman wasn't scared. He didn't care. He played the youngsters, sacking or not. Why can't we get youngsters coming through? Now, when the takeover happens, surely when the takeover happens, because no shadow of a doubt, we'll be splashing the cash if it does happen. What happens with the youth squad? Do we just leave that aside? Because eventually they'll have to come back to the youth side. The spending will slow. You know, you might see an influx of crazy money getting spent left, right and centre, but it'll have to slow down at some point, and then he'll be looking at the under-23s again. Who can he get through? Why can't we produce? Because for me, Newcastle have a pluck of talent going all the way up to the Scottish border for me. We're the only club from here all the way up to the Scottish border, and you probably say Newcastle have the influx of probably Durham area as well. because the most Durham split between Newcastle and Sunderland. Do you know what I mean? I haven't really got an answer for you. I want to know what your suggestions are. Why are we not getting players coming through? When we do the report with the older game, hopefully we'll see a win. You know what I mean? Keep an eye out. Stay tuned, and you'll see a quick room tour. Hey everyone. So this is day one of changing location. So at the moment, up here, you see all the posters. Now this is just to try and decorate something of some kind. In Rafa we trust, Newcastle Clock, and all the match programmes from the last couple of years, as well as my cat comes in, one of them anyways. So the posters are up there at the moment. There's some classics up there as well. You know, you've got Shelby. Doesn't look great because obviously I've turned the lights off at the moment. The typical whiteboard video, that's going to be placed up onto there. So that'll be on that wall if I just zoom out for you. A couple of photography lights as well. And over here is where some of the recording will go on. Tony Duggan at the bottom, that's fell off the floor. Pool table and so on. And if I just come around here, you'll see the setup as well. So that's the big PC, that's the laptop. There's another laptop there too. And a few bits and bobs, Newcastle shirts and so on. What's coming shortly is we're going to have a sofa going across here. That's arriving on Thursday, and then we're going to have another sofa here. So we're going to be having two sofas there and there. And what the aim is maybe put a TV in that corner, and then we'll have loads of recordings with discussions. That's the aim with the channel. We've also got two flash, because these are photography ones without any bulbs. We've got two flash studio lights on its way as well, and we've also got two corner tables as well, so we'll probably go in here somewhere as well, just to lift it up as well. And that's me. I'm just wearing shorts because I've obviously been in the gym after work. But yeah, I thought I'll give you a quick heads up. The reason behind doing this is I want now to push Newcastle Fans TV on. You know, Borough Fan TV contacted me and say, have you got an office? And I was like, well, I've been thinking about doing it, and now's the time to do it. So this is the reason behind it, because I look at Redmen TV, I look at Ball Street, I look at Toffee TV, and I think now is the time to push Newcastle Fans TV onto that next level and make it more discussion, because that's what the idea is with the sofas going in there, or to record and have a discussion, get yous involved as well, get yous over, do a lot of recording, mixture of all sorts of guests as well. That's the aim behind the idea. What do you think?